Cool. Oh, okay, I'm supposed to let you know that I'm recording you. Or us.
You recording this?
Yeah, right?
You didn't tell me that.
Oh, you thought this was just a FaceTime date?
Yeah, I thought you just memorized the whole thing and you just kind of regurgitate it later. Maybe, do a biop or something.
Yeah, no, it's all AI. Uh,
Hey guys, welcome in. Today we are doing another episode of Gamer Chats, and we're interviewing Justin Hadouken, who is a streamer over on Twitch who does variety content. Recently, he did Pokemon Snap for Retro Thursdays. I think that's when he does his Retro Days. He's also been playing Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, as well as Cuphead. Justin is a buddy that I met in a Discord server originally, and ended up one way or another in the same Discord server, which I think he actually kind of like heads up. And so he's slowly become a friend of mine over the last couple months. And of course, I wanted him to be one of the first couple guests in the series that I'm doing. So we're going to go and see who Justin is as a gamer, what got him into gaming and making content. We'll see you in the video.
cool. Oh, okay, I'm supposed to let you know that I'm recording you. Or us.
You recording this?
Yeah, right?
You didn't tell me that.
Oh, you thought this was just a FaceTime date?
Yeah, I thought you just memorized the whole thing and you just kind of regurgitate it later. Maybe, do a biop or something.
Yeah, no, it's all AI. I feel like for those of you who don't know, which if you watch me over on Twitch, you have seen the lovely mustached Justin Hadouken popping in, or Hadouken, however you pronounce it. Hadouken is a variety streamer over on Twitch, and he has recently been doing Cuphead along with Minish Cap and
Just all over the map, honestly.
yeah. Oh, you did Sonic recently too.
It's Sonic, Pokemon Snap the other week.
That's right.
I did Animal Crossing a couple days ago. Yeah, it's a little all over the map, honestly.
Yeah. So I think one of the most fun questions to ask gamers is what really got you into gaming? Like, what was your first favorite game?
Sure. So I've been playing games for a long time now, since I was a kid. Grew up with my dad and actually both my parents had a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo. So we used to play a lot on that. And then my dad was in computers anyway. He did computer work. So he also used to emulate Sega Genesis on the laptop. So we were kind of playing a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And so yeah, I played a lot of Super Mario Bros. Like the first three on the NES. What else? Duck Hunt was a lot of fun. I love that with like what is it, the zapper?
Yeah.
It was terrible, but it was a lot of fun.
He is a horrible character to play against in Smash if
Yeah.
they're good with them.
Oh, it's a nightmare. It's
Dude.
A lot of those like obscure ones. I have such a hard time with trying to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, I played a lot of that. I loved A Link to the Past was a big one for me. Super Metroid. I never really got fully through a lot of these when I was younger. But I enjoyed playing them. I liked the atmosphere of a lot of it. I think the ones that I was always a lot better at when I was younger were the RPGs. So like early Final Fantasy 4 and 6 for us. I think it was 2 and 3 in the US.
Right.
What else? Like Pokemon. Played a lot of those in the Game Boy. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything in the beginning.
Yeah. So you've always been a variety player.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of cycled through things, try to figure out, what I like and don't like.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't say that I was a variety gamer. I was pretty much strictly RPGs, especially turn-based RPGs for a long time. I was never good at like Mario Kart on the GameCube.
Yeah.
The original one I was shit at too. But yeah, it's okay. So cool. I feel like recently is when I really started branching out. Like Bloodborne was the first well, Mega Man X would be my first like Metroidvania.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a term back then.
Yeah, Souls likes were one that definitely took me a while to get into. I actually completely missed the original Dark Souls series entirely.
Yeah.
I still haven't played any of them. It's just some on my list I need to get back to. But I got into it when Sekiro actually was announced. I had no idea it was even anything to do with the series. I just thought it looked awesome.
Yeah.
And was just kind of hyped up for it. Went into that. And since then, played Bloodborne, Elden Ring. I actually platinumed a few of those.
So how
But yeah,
frustrating was Sekiro for you?
it was a rough entry
Yeah.
into that whole kind of game. I think it's one of the harder ones, isn't it?
Full disclosure, I haven't played that game yet.
Yeah, it's great. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
It was what I played it for a while, and like I said, I platinum a few of them, so I had to kind of go back to it and actually come back into it. And when I had left off, I was on the final boss.
Yeah.
So there was no way in hell. I actually had to go all the way back through and play a whole other playthrough, just kind of get back in the swing of it before I could even kind of try to finish that one fight. So
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
it's tough to get into this, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I really like the Souls. Like, I mean, I like Bloodborne better, to be honest. It's just
Yeah.
a whole cool. I mean, I think you played that one before, right?
I did. That was my first entry into the Souls likes, actually.
Yeah.
I think. Now I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it was either that or the first Dark Souls.
Mhm.
But I don't. Yeah, now I don't remember anymore. But Bloodborne, I just liked the world a lot more. It felt a
Mhm.
lot more creepy.
Yeah.
I
Did you
just
check out the DLC for it? It's really cool.
no, I didn't actually.
Yeah, the final boss of the DLC is a nightmare. It's Orphan of Cos, I think it's called.
I feel like
it's a complete utter nightmare.
yeah, I feel like every DLC boss in video games is just a nightmare. Like you saw me trying to beat Isadora in Blasphemous.
Oh yeah.
That
Well,
I don't think
you came into there way early too.
dude, I don't think I will ever try to beat her again.
Yeah.
Uh,
You got pretty close.
but enough about me. We're here for you. What would you say is your favorite game of all time? If you could pick a favorite game,
That's a tough one. Um,
we could go genre too, if that's
Yeah,
easier.
well, I mean, top genres. I definitely cater to. I definitely do a lot of the retro games. I like to go back and just play old games that I enjoyed either when I was younger or completely missed. That I do a lot of that. Metrovanias are great.
Mhm.
So I met you. I was playing Hollow Knight. Super Metroid. I love a lot. Ori and the Blind Forest was good.
Dude, that game was hard.
Yeah, or that one, and I think the second one I forget what it was called. I don't know. Anyway,
There is Ori and the Blind Forest and Will of the Wisp.
Will of the Wisp, that was the other one. Yeah. Axiom Verge, those were really good too. 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think you were recommending those
Yeah.
to me.
A little simpler looking, but it's a nice. One of the things I really like about games like that, especially the Metroidvanias, is just exploring the world.
Yeah.
Because you start out, kind of minimal area, and it's similar to the adventure games where you start out in the area and you get, unlock new areas as you go. But it's definitely unique in that it's sort of a set space and you're kind of wiggling around. And something that could have been like on the other side of a door from the start, suddenly it's like this crazy story breaking thing that you just didn't have the ability to get to right until like an hour or two into the game. So
Yeah.
I always thought that was really cool. The music is usually really good in those kind of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that a lot. It's usually more of a focus on gameplay too, rather than just drip feeding or try to force feed you too much story.
Right.
You know what I
That
mean?
is kind of a problem with like at least earlier Final Fantasy games. It's like all story. There is
Lower
side
dump.
content, but like that's more work to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like. I mean, I won't say I won't play the games, but I don't like as much when you start a game or you can play a game and suddenly you have a cutscene for like 10 minutes just feeding you information and showing you scenes. I mean, I like it mixed in there, but a lot of the time they just do too much. That's one of the things I liked about the Souls series and Hollow Knight and a lot of other games is that as you're going through, some of the lore is sort of up to interpretation. Others you're just sort of finding drip fed through maybe a message here or some dialogue here, and you kind of piece it together. I like that a lot more.
Yeah.
It's sort of just learning what's actually going on is sort of as part of the enjoyment of the game.
Yeah, that's actually what makes me pay attention more to a game's story or lore is like it's actually one of my gripes with Dark Souls is like you really have to search for the story. Otherwise it just feels like like a dungeon crawler, I guess. Like you're
Yeah.
just fighting bosses, like having to go through and read every item. You're like, oh, so like we're spoiler alert, we're Sif thinks the original guy. Okay. But yeah, no, that is one thing like Blasphemous did well. It's like it's there. You definitely can notice it, but it's not like hard to find, and it's also not force fed.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't really fully answer your question. I don't know what my very favorite game is.
Yeah.
I mean, Bloodborne's definitely up there. Hollow Knight is absolutely up there. That game is just perfect.
Yeah.
Going back to old games, A Link to the Past is a big one for me. That one, probably one of the earliest Zelda games I actually beat. I really enjoyed that one a lot. And I really like those top downs too.
Yeah.
A lot of the Mario games. I like those platformers too. I don't know. There's a lot. I would say anything but, I say this all the time, I'm not big on a lot of those like mass multiplayer shooter games. I'm not really big on that. Fortnite, Call of Duty, Apex, that kind of stuff. I don't really get into that too much. Sports games, I don't really like too much.
Same.
Unless it's like, like Mario Sports or something with like sort of a gimmick to it to make it fun. If it's just straight up Mad Instant the Year, I'm not big on it.
Oh, you mean you don't want to play NBA 2028?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, they changed this character this year.
Yeah.
Adjusted the stats a little bit. It's like, okay, it's the same game. Just give me an update if that's the case.
Yeah. Okay, so like we said, you're streaming on Twitch. What led you to becoming a content creator?
Sure. So, I mean, to be honest, it sort of felt like the natural progression. I was just playing games all the time. And it sort of felt isolating a little bit. I mean, obviously Erica would be there sometimes hanging out, but sometimes I'm kind of going to my room and just hanging out and doing this thing. It's just sort of like felt like a good way to engage with people who were doing the same thing. So I looked at Twitch primarily because originally I was thinking, do I want Twitch? Do I want YouTube? There's Kick there. I wasn't really sort of considering that, but all the different options.
Yeah.
But what I always heard about Twitch was just the community. Was just a lot closer knit, a lot more supportive, and that felt like a good place to start and good place to at least explore and see if that's what I wanted. And, from what I've heard, or from everything I've heard, it definitely seems to ring true.
I mean,
yeah.
At the end of the day, even if, let's say I never became affiliate, I made some really cool connections along the way and met some cool people, and that was like the easiest thing to do. It seemed like you met people quickly who would pop in, like they were diehard fans of Hollow Knight or Baldur's Gate or something of the sort.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's so many different ways to meet people. I mean, you can look at it by game, and just see other people that are playing the kind of same games you're seeing or you like, and meet people that way. The Discord communities have been great. There's so many different groups of people. I mean, it's not all positive, it's not all negative. You can kind of get the lay of the land pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Or what kind of things are like. And some people pop in, some people are supporting you just because they have to support something. Others are maybe start that way and then they kind of get interest in what you're doing, and you just meet a lot of people. I mean, that's how we met, right? So it's
exactly.
It's a cool way to just kind of get out there and meet a lot more people. Whereas in real life, I don't know, it hasn't gone kind of the same way. A lot of people, at least in my experience, tend to be flaky sometimes. So it's been cool just meeting a lot of people. And then when we're able to hang out, we hang out through here. And there's so many people that if it's not the right time for one person, someone else is available to
absolutely
kind of enjoy the same kind of things that you're doing. So
was it intimidating for you when you started streaming?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What made you the most nervous?
So I definitely get social anxiety. I have a hard time talking. I don't know if it comes across or not at this point, but it's
no, you seem very comfortable to me.
Yeah, it's something that's always been really difficult for me. And in my job at work, I think it's helped as well. Just being a manager, having to talk to people all the time, I think I've sort of forced myself to get used to it and kind of dive into the pool head first.
But, I think a lot of people who are shy tend to end up in roles like that for whatever reason. I mean, I none of my friends would tell you that I'm an introverted person, but I spend most of my time at home now because social interactions are exhausting for me. But I'm also interacting with hundreds of people multiple times per week, and it wears me out. So I understand where you're coming from and how being in that role doesn't maybe feel ideal.
Yeah. But an identity crisis, right?
Yeah, with streaming though, it's easy because people that are there, they want to be there,
Mhm.
and sometimes you get lucky and they're there just for you.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say in the beginning it was definitely difficult because I mean, right now, we'll get into streaming, we'll get a couple people we know, maybe hop in, maybe it's a slow night, maybe it's a busy night, you get a couple raids, whatever. Starting
Mhm.
out, it's just not like that. And you could stream for 2 hours, you could stream for 8 hours, and maybe you see one person there, maybe you don't, and you're
Yeah.
just sort of talking to the void.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, it's a lot easier to engage when there's a chat there, or somebody just to bounce ideas or conversation off of. But when it's not like that, that was a big challenge for me. It's just coming up with things to say and continually kind of it felt draining,
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely can
Mhm.
be that way. It's so disappointing or defeating, maybe not disappointing, but you, you can't help it. You look up at the view count and you're like, "Oh, one person."
Yeah.
And they're just lurking. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and try not to call those people out. So, because some people don't
Yeah.
want to, they're lurking for a reason.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
for
everyone
sure.
wants to be talked to, So it's a lot to get used to. It's sort of a flood of new, I don't know, ideas, new things you have to think about and worry about and kind of consider all at once. On top of,
Mhm.
is my computer working? Do I have the settings right? Is my lighting
Yeah.
correct? Is my sound right? Have I been muted the last 3 hours,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is there a cat's tail popping up all of a sudden? All right,
Or I
so
guess in my experience is my microphone screaming at the audience, right? Well, that's not happening anymore.
yeah, no, and I think you know, you've got a fix for it now. Yeah. So what did you do, or what do you do to get over the pre-stream jitters? Because I don't know about you, but even as I'm about to press record, I'm like, okay, am I actually ready to do this now?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I've realized, and not just in streaming, but like I said, any other social situation where I have to maybe talk in front of people or do something where the eyes are kind of on me, is that I guess just realizing that that feeling's not going to go away, that it's there, it's going to happen pretty much every time,
Yeah.
and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. So just knowing, okay, I'm going to feel this way, but that's okay, and then just knowing that you can just take that step and just hit stream, maybe have the just starting window up at least to hit stream, so people are at least looking, and then maybe you see a couple viewers come in, you're like, all right, now I have to do this, right? It sort of becomes
Yeah.
real. Yeah. So I'll usually hit stream and kind of keep that window up while I'm maybe putting my live in a couple Discord servers or getting something fixed up in the meantime, just to
Mhm.
kind of work myself up a little bit. I
Yeah.
think that helps, at least personally for me. But at the end of the day, yeah, you just sort of have to take that step, or I think the more you think about it, the more likely you're gonna kind of backslide.
Mhm.
At least in my experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I think about it too long, that's a good way to guarantee that I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm sitting on my couch thinking about it and I'm just like, maybe I'll do it, or I could like binge watch anime for 10 hours because that's super easy to do.
Mhm. You just start making those
Yeah.
excuses or coming up with alternatives, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. And
And
that's
that's
fair. I mean, you don't always have to be on to. I mean, you know me. I'll cancel my stream at least once or twice a week. I did. I mean, I
yeah,
did today for this is other reasons, but I mean, a lot of times maybe I'm just tired out from it, and I committed myself to some schedule, and I'm like, I can't. I'm not feeling it today,
yeah,
and that's okay. At the end of the day, you got to have your balance. Even if I mean, I'm not necessarily doing this to try to make money. I'm trying to enjoy myself with it, and if that
mhm,
happens, that's great. But even if you're trying to do it for that reason, I think you have to take time for yourself. You have to be able to kind of give yourself that grace that maybe you're not always at 100%, and to be able to, take a step back when you need to, make changes when you need to, and make sure that you're still enjoying it. Because if you're not enjoying it, I mean, the viewers are going to see that. You're going to know that
yeah,
you're not going to have fun. You're going to get burnt out, and it's sort of it's self defeating, right?
yeah, yeah. That's I think yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday when I was streaming. I wanted to stream for longer, but I was about to fall asleep at the computer, so it's just like
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go take a nap. I'll be fine.
yeah. It's like, why force it?
Yeah, like
Make yourself miserable.
yeah, and make other people miserable. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like, of course, it's different when you're at work because you're getting paid to be there, but like,
sure. Yeah.
everybody can tell when you don't want to be there.
Mhm.
You try your best to hide it, but there's other bullshitters out there that can see through your bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, if you're at a good enough job, they're trying to focus on your well-being anyway, or some at least work-life balance to some degree,
Yeah.
If you're, like I said, if you're at a good job, not everyone's got paid, I mean, like that's
What's that like?
for jobs where they really want to get the most out of you, though, they typically recognize that. Whereas others, maybe they're like, yeah, we'll get what we can, and they'll work you to the brim. So it just depends. But I think the idea is the same. It's just you have to you can only give so much, and if you have already given it up, it's like, what are you going to do? You're just going to start rambling or draining or saying some crazy stuff, something, or just not really doing anything.
Yeah. As you started making more progress, what were some things that you wish you had known early on?
First thing I would say I wish I knew early on, I'd say a month earlier, would be don't stream for 8 hours if no one's viewing.
Yeah.
I had a couple, maybe like, I think for a week or two, I
Mhm.
tried to do anywhere from like 5 to 8 hour streams for at least half the week. And so by the time I
Wow.
started getting viewers and getting people actually watching, I had this month of just terrible average viewership just dragging me down.
Yeah.
And so it took me about a month extra just to hit affiliate. Even once I was consistently hitting above 3 average viewers, there was just no way to get there because
Yeah.
I had these 7 8 hour streams worth like a 0.1 average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did my first 7-hour stream the other day, kind of unintentionally.
Yeah.
And it was one of those where like one person might pop in occasionally,
Mhm.
and which is fine. Like don't care, but
No, exactly.
it is depressing to watch your view count go from 2 to 1.5.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, dang, what happened to that person's legs? You know?
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like you could definitely get there if you really are intentional about it, but
Mhm.
not everyone cares that much, and it just really depends on what you're trying to do, what your goals are, and at the end of the day, you're gonna get there eventually. So,
Yeah.
and nothing's permanent either. I mean, that's a rolling 30-day average, so it falls off after a month anyway. So, yeah.
Oh, touche.
When you,
Okay.
yeah, when you care about it is when you worry about it, right?
Yeah. Uh, is there other nerdy content that you enjoy maybe?
Other nerdy content I enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, I like anime.
Of course.
Not as much
Absolutely.
as a billion people, so I'm sure I'll get out nerded there. But yeah, I do definitely enjoy anime. I think actually you recommended the one I'm watching now, Frieren.
Oh my God, Free Red's
So
like
good.
that's a
So
perfect
good.
anime, I think.
Yeah, I just watched the most recent one, I think, yes, or actually this morning I watched it.
Yeah,
So good.
trying to put that one off for a couple days
Mhm.
so I don't have to wait as long for the next one.
Yeah. I think
I
they
like
took a
to
week off, didn't they?
They did at the beginning of the
Yeah.
year, and so I had 2 episodes waiting, and then I just like, of course, watched them and was like, why did I do this to myself?
Yeah.
But
I've
no,
got such a backlog of anime I want to watch.
there's a lot.
Yeah. And it's constantly growing, which doesn't help.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know about you, but sometimes I will put a video game down with the intent of like coming back to it in a few days.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like 3 months goes by, and I'm like, oh shit, I never finished Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
Which I did, never finished Chrono Trigger. It's a good game.
Yeah.
I liked it perfectly fine, but I never finished it.
Yeah. And you think streaming could help, right? But
Yeah.
that didn't help.
Nope. I found other games that I wanted to do more.
That happened to me with the first one I streamed on here, honestly. Summoner. It was a PS2 launch title.
Okay.
I think we talked about it a little bit in the server, but it's basically it's like a big RPG game. Looks really broken at this point. Looks crazy, outdated, but
Yeah.
it's one of those nostalgic ones for me. So I had a lot of fun with it. If you've seen my follower notification thing that comes up, that probably no one has any idea what the hell it is. That's what it's from.
The hot little potato.
No. It's like I'm attacking the darkness.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
haven't seen that.
yeah, it's like whenever I get a follower. But anyway, it's like from a blooper reel in the game. It's like a reference to, I forget what it's a reference to. It's like some other old comedy sketch thing that they snuck in there. But anyway, that was the first game I played on here, and it's like this long RPG. It's got like no average viewers, so no one's really hopping in. And so like halfway through, I realized I was like, maybe this isn't the game I start trying to hit affiliate with.
Yeah.
And so I kind of took a step back and I was like, oh, I'll play this later, but I haven't actually got back to it. I think that was like in September or something. Maybe
Yeah.
October. So that's one I got to go back to. I really want to play the sequel to that, to be honest.
What's it called?
Summoner. Oh, it's Summoner 2. But
Okay.
it's one of those like I guess I could probably emulate it, but it's like the lost media sort of thing. Unless you have a PS2, you can't play it. They
Yeah,
have it
okay.
anywhere else. Yeah, so it's like
And they never did a remaster.
the first one they put on Steam, but I mean they didn't really do anything with it because of
Mhm.
complications with the companies and everything like that. But the second one's gone nowhere. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I'll have to
what's
find that somewhere.
the most important part of a like when you decide to play a video game?
Hmm. Um, so what I first decided, it has to draw me in. I have to the gameplay has to look good, the story has to look cool. The graphics are not the biggest thing for me unless it looks just crazy, and I'm like, okay, I just have to check it out. And
Yeah.
usually I end up getting disappointed when I get drawn in that way.
Yeah.
With a few exceptions, but yeah, usually the graphics don't really tell the whole story.
Yeah,
But yeah,
true.
definitely. If the gameplay looks good, I'd say that's the biggest draw for me.
Did I cut you off a bit ago?
Uh,
feel like you were in the middle of talking
I don't
still.
think so. I think you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd say gameplay is the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
But then yeah, once I start, you never know because you could something can look good, but then as soon as you play it, you're like, I hate this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some games like that. I think it was called Deus Ex Machina or something. It was some like
I know what you're
robot
talking
shooter
about.
game. I was so excited for that one for the longest time, and I finally played it, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Caught myself there, but it was
You're fine, man. This
okay.
is
Cool.
yeah. You've seen the way I talk.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not treating it any differently.
Okay.
And
Try to be
yeah.
fair, All right, cool. But yeah,
Also
it looked terrible, or it was
for
terrible when I started.
uh I tried Near
Mhm.
Automata, however you're supposed to say it. And
Yeah,
that game is like pretty well loved, and they did an anime adaptation recently.
yeah,
I hated it. Like it looked good, but it was for sure a JRPG, and
Mhm.
those are really hit or miss for me. Especially if it's not turn-based combat. I don't remember if it was anymore because I played
Mhm.
for maybe an hour and was like, nah, I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There was another game like that that it was really well liked, and I just hated Evil Within. So I really
Mm.
thought I was gonna like that game. It looks so cool, like both of them. I tried to start both of them, and I realized it was a frustrating game. Like you die very easily. It's a lot of stealth, which I hate.
Okay.
And you're just getting flooded with enemies. So I've seen so many like let's plays of it, seeing it. I'm like, it looks very good watching it, but as soon as got in there and actually played it, I couldn't get into it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, very frustrating because it looks amazing and like it's got a lot of that body horror, which is cool. And
Doesn't doesn't Metal Gear Solid have like a forced kind of stealth mechanic
oh
sometimes?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't stand the. I mean, a little bit's fine. Yeah, like if especially if you're like sneaking up on enemies and stuff, that's cool. But if you're
Yeah.
just constantly trying to hide, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like that or the what's it called when you have someone just like following you the whole time?
Stalking.
Yeah, whatever those are. Or like when you're like trying to like guide someone somewhere and you can't let them die or
Oh,
yeah, those
yeah.
are the worst too. It's just like
Yeah,
don't put
like
that in the game.
dude, I remember playing WoW back in the day, and you have like you're escorting somebody.
Escort mission. That's what I was talking
Yeah, I knew that. I was just trying to, I just didn't want to make you feel bad, dude. That was on purpose.
Yeah, I'm terrible with that. There'll be like some simple word like right in the front of my head, and I can't can't get
It's
to it.
because you have this big old brain full of big words, dude. I get it. You're big brain over here.
Throw them all.
Lots of wrinkles. Um, you're like running, and then you turn around. You're like, what? Why are you like a half mile away?
Yeah.
Oh, you're waiting for me to come back so I can fight some things that haven't shown up yet. Cool. It was,
Come on, let's go. Go
yeah,
there.
yeah. Escort quests suck.
Yeah, it's just a slog, you know. It's like what am I even doing? And like I feel like half time you get killed, like you lose to cheap things. Like maybe the AI screwed up and it ran into an enemy or something. And you're just like, all right, it,
Yeah.
it's just never a fun. I feel like things like that, like mechanics in games like that aren't fun and just exist to slow you down. It just feels like filler. Like they're just trying to pad the game out longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a short game that's just concise but really good gameplay. Like I'd rather have an hour-long game than a 40-hour game that has stuff like that in it.
Yeah.
Just give me one good package experience.
Or sometimes those are funny though because you'll see like a patch of grass in the middle of the road and they'll
Yeah.
get like stuck around it. Like they can't tell if they're gonna go around it or over it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This actually was a question that you suggested to me before I even started this whole
Uh-oh.
project. A whole week ago. Um, what's the most memorable moment, or what have been some of the biggest moments in streaming so far?
Some of the biggest moments. Well, I mean, obviously hitting affiliate was huge.
Mhm.
That was a lot of effort, a lot of, like I said, diving headfirst into something that I just knew nothing about whatsoever. I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
really even do PC gaming or anything before
Yeah.
this. I had like a laptop that I didn't really do anything with, so I
Yeah.
was always console. So getting used to just setting all these things up was basically every couple of days I was changing something. I was not even every couple of days. I think for a while it was every single day I was changing something about my setup or fixing something or
Mhm.
removing something or realizing, oh, I need this too, or trying to
Yeah.
figure all that out. So finally getting there and at least having it to the point where, okay, I don't have to worry about so much what's happening today
Mhm.
and not having to worry about, how many people are viewing right now, how many, that was a
Yeah.
huge step for me, just being able to kind of step back and be like, all right, I can just relax and just do whatever the hell I want, enjoy myself. Um, that was, I'd say, the biggest piece
Yeah.
for me. That on top of, so after I hit there, I kind of took a step back for a bit. I was in like a billion servers. I was constantly supporting a ton, and that's great. But you have to, like I said, you have to be able to take a step back for yourself too, and have that balance. And
Yeah.
I think starting out, I got a little too overzealous and just wanted
Mhm.
to kind of get going as quickly as possible. And so once you're there, you're like, oh, what the hell am I doing now? Like,
Yeah.
how long can I really keep doing this?
Yeah.
And so I think that was since then probably the most significant thing is just being able to take a step back. I dropped a couple servers. I think I ended up going back into a few of them anyway. Once I was able to kind of breathe again.
Yeah.
But just being able to know, okay, like I can only give so much. I can only do so much. I want to support people, but I also need to kind of focus on my own time. And so from that point on, like before that, you had a lot of people who were kind of coming in and out for this, the supports to the server. And if you're
Mhm.
constantly supporting your higher up in the hierarchies, whatever, so you get more people coming in. So seeing that slow down and then just sort of seeing kind of who stuck around and
Mhm.
who's there more consistently, I think that was probably the biggest thing for me. Is just kind of, I think that's more important anyway. Is just to make those more important connections rather than focusing so much on the numbers and just sort of work more with just network with people and meeting new people and engaging with the content and the chat and
Yeah. I think
community.
that was a big thing for me too, because we were in the same Discord server first, and
Yeah.
now we're in the same Discord server. Well, I'm not in one of the. I'm not in
It's a
any
billion.
of the. Yeah, but I'm in Kingdom,
Mhm.
and which is yours and Prince's combined, a little baby, if you will. Well, a big baby, but um, I realized pretty quickly that I just didn't want to constantly be, on my phone or at a computer to,
Exactly.
get in like, okay, I did my time today. Like,
Mhm.
let me post my link now. Like, I want people to be there because they want to be, not
Mhm.
because, they're there to send like a bunch of dumb emojis for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's the one that kills me.
Yeah.
There was a few that I had to drop just for that reason that you'd get people who just come in, spam with emojis and then leave. I'm like, I'd rather you just weren't there at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather have no one watching than just have a chat. I mean, like, granted, there's a time and place. Like, if I'm in the middle of a boss fight and people are getting hype and there's, emojis flying, that's fine.
Of
That's
course.
natural, right? But
Yeah.
just people coming in and trying to force them in there just to say, look, yeah, I was there. You saw me. Give you
Yeah.
credit, you know? It, it
Yeah. And you're
it's
literally just jumping from platform to platform in Hollow Knight trying to get to the next area, and you're like,
yeah.
it's really not that cool, dude. Like,
Like,
it's
oh, thanks for the emojis.
yeah.
It just feels disingenuous, you know?
Yeah,
I'd rather, I mean, if you're not going to build any connections that way anyway, it just
for sure.
feels like a means to an end. It feels like that kind of like, follow for follow sort of deal. And that's,
Yeah.
that's short term. Um, Whereas if it's fine to go into support and maybe like I said, you start for the support, you want to actually just get that credit, but you get in there, you like the content, you engage with them a little bit and you meet somebody, that's fine. You don't have to go in there with the exact right intention all the time.
Yeah,
But
no, of course.
but at
Yeah,
least try,
nobody's
put a little
that
effort in.
altruistic. I think people want to be there,
Yeah.
but like I can't watch somebody play what's a zombie game that's really popular right now that's like
Dead by Daylight.
I think so. It's
Oh,
multiplayer.
it's probably there's a lot of them like that,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's one of them.
sure. Dead by
Yeah.
Daylight, Fortnite, whatever. I can't watch that. It does
Mhm.
not interest me. I like watching somebody die 100 times
Yeah.
to Hornet or whatever,
Exactly.
or
And that,
fighting
yeah.
Market without, leveling up at all.
hmm And that's the beauty of Twitch is there's so many different people out there and so many different communities of people to go into. Like, you might find a community that's built around, like finding, certain, maybe like Fortnite or something, or Call of Duty or some shooters. And then you might find another one that's RPG based or maybe retro based. And you kind of meet people in that group, or you might just find the support ones that have a mix of everybody. And
Yeah,
you kind of just network with the people. Maybe you see they're playing this game, like, oh, see what they're doing. And you kind of meet people and check them out, and you got to get from there.
yeah,
It's good that there's so much available for so many different people. I think that's really cool about it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Having the freedom to pick and choose what you like, and also, finding communities. That's
Mhm.
that's what it's about, I think.
Exactly.
Is there anything else that you would like to say, like regarding streaming, to either encourage others or just be like, look at me?
Well, I don't need to look at me, but to encourage others, yeah, definitely get out there. If you're on the fence, just go for it. You don't need
Yeah,
to have all everything. You don't need a camera. I mean, a microphone is probably you should probably have.
yeah,
Because I mean, really, because you'll see some people who will just play gameplay, and that's fine. You can go and I mean, if that's all you got, go for it. But I'd say if you need one thing, a microphone would make that huge difference because you need that connection with
hmm
people. And a lot of people, I mean, you can see some big streamers who have no mic, who have no camera or anything. You don't have to go all in. You don't
yeah,
need a whole setup. You don't need a crazy computer. I've seen people run off laptops, or
yeah,
just straight off consoles. Just get out there and do your thing. There's a huge community out here to support you. Um, Obviously, we'll support you if we
yeah.
see you.
Of course.
Um, but yeah, I mean, really, it's a very supportive community out there. So I would definitely say just go for it. And take it one day at a time. Ask questions. And yeah, just try to learn all you can.
Awesome. Well, Justin, it's been a pleasure having you. It's been nice talking to you in real
Always a pleasure,
time,
Zach.
and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
All right, you as well. I appreciate it, man. You have
Yeah.
a good one.
All right, everyone, that's going to do it for today. I appreciate you all stopping in to get to know Justin Hadouken a little bit better. It was such a treat having him after only interacting with him via chat for months, uh, either popping into his stream or him popping into mine. It was nice to actually get to sit down and have a real conversation with him. I think he's such a cool dude. His gameplay is so fun to watch. If you're on Twitch at all, please go give him a follow. Definitely show up for his games because he is so fun to watch. With that being said, that was Gamer Chats. I hope you all have a good day. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a like, and I'll see you for the next one.